What's going on, everybody? We are here with the cleaned up generator boards. Everyone who ordered a unit, they should be shipping out within 2 or 3 days now, maybe even sooner. As we can see, we can lift it up. Everything's zip tied down. You can see completely underneath it. You would earth ground this part right here. Earth ground this point. And the generator board, I had a breakthrough with it. It's all set. You have two options. You can actually recharge the source now, because I was able to achieve a plasma based isolation within the circuitry using those special discharge tubes. So we now have the ability to recharge the source and fine tune it with our potentiometers here. And we also have the ability to charge another 5 amp hour supercapacitor battery hybrid to run an inverter. The choice is yours. The generator board, this is the most advanced model. Everyone who ordered is getting this model. You have the option to either charge this secondary source or recharge your source with enough fine tuning. So I'll turn it on and show you what to do. You turn it on, you know it's operating when your tubes are glowing and firing. Our power consumption through the amp meter, virtually nothing. As you see, I turn the circuit on and off. We consume a little bit of power. We now then have our output here, which is a very this output. It very rapidly, as you can see, this output very rapidly can recharge these types of power sources. And here's the output dead shorted. That's our power consumption, virtually nothing. And anyway, I connect you to here. You now then have the ability to throw the switch, turn the inverter on. You can connect up your light bulb. And these wires are live now. You got to be careful. It's producing pure AC. So here's the light bulb. And keep in mind, I didn't even earth ground the system at that point yet. It would operate much more efficiently. You can run an incandescent. There's your wattage draw. It can run an LED spotlight, no problem. So the manual switch is here on the inverter, and the reason we have that manual switch is because when an inverter is on, it has parasitic power drain, and you don't want to have that from your source. It would affect the charging. So again, there's how the system looks. To sum the generator board up, it also has this solar panel. You can literally just connect to either power source that you want. If you ever run the system down so low you can't start that initial charge. The system also comes with a DC power supply that you can plug into the inverter and recharge that source with, which is consuming virtually no power. So there's how the board looks. Cleaned up, everything zip tied down, fine tuned it, achieved plasma based isolation. So I can connect this now, this output. As you see, our tubes are firing. I can connect this output back into the input, and it should recharge if tuned properly. And I earth ground it down here. We can achieve the tuning with these knobs, these potentiometers. As you can see, as I tune it, the characteristics of the gas discharge tube vary. If I take out my multimeter, I'm doing all this one-handed. Take out my multimeter. Doing all this one-handed, outside, barefoot, quick video, playing with electricity, which you probably shouldn't do, but shouldn't really ever do this, but then again, So here's the voltage on this thing. 13.48. Here will be the voltage on our source. And when you get the tuning right, also once you earth ground this thing and you get the tuning right, your source will always stay charged. So you also have the option to run your inverter off of just this source, because I achieved the plasma-based isolation. Now I will connect up again, before I lose more light, connect up again the output of our ringer to this power source, because I like doing it this way better now. You have either option to play with. And as you notice, I'm going to have to tune it now because the spark isn't as big. So I'm going to have to tune it a little bit with the potentiometers to where I get the biggest spark. And I get that biggest spark and my input drops to nothing. So I connect that back up. We'll do a power reading. And the earth ground for this system is optional. I have it so finely tuned now, but an earth ground will help nonetheless. We will see our voltage reading on the thing. 13.49. It should go to 13.50 because that output rapidly recharges. And if you have trouble with the rapid recharging, tune the little potentiometers until it does rapidly recharge. And have even better luck, you could try earth grounding it. That should say 13.50 any moment. Yes, it does. The best way to use this system is to make sure that this thing is always fully charged, and you tap a little bit of power off it, 40 to 50 watts for 5 to 10 minutes at a time. Let it charge itself up all the way. From the output of this, which is virtually nothing, the negative resistance takes over, can recharge any kind of source for virtually no power input. And you do one cycle where you use the power a little bit, and you have one cycle where you dump a little bit of that power back into itself. So again, to sum up the board that's going out, I achieved plasma-based isolation with the discharge tubes. This is the model that is going out to all the people who ordered. It is shipping out within anywhere from 1 to 2 days, 3 at most. Again, this solar panel has the proper charge controller circuitry in the back. You can just connect that to any one of these you want. Everything's an experimental test platform board for you to play with. You don't want to pull the full 350 watts out of this. You want to pull 50 to 100 at most for safety. If you really want to, your switch would get a little hot, but if you want to, you could pull maybe 150 watts to 200, but you don't want to do more than that. So again, to sum the system up, we have our input for the system, consumes virtually no power. We power up our negative resistant ringer circuit that we wound a wireless transformer over. We created a negative resistant ringer circuit, and that power output, when we then send it to a load, can do work, can recharge a power source. And while it does that, our input drops to virtually nothing because of the negative resistance. And we can earth ground that point right here. There'll be a schematic for that. We earth ground that little point right there. And the effect gets even more enhanced. And again, here's the output. Very rapid. The power's there. It's real to play with. And while this is occurring, we have virtually no power draw. It actually drops. So that sums it up. That's how the board looks. There's a switch on the inverter. You always want to make sure that switch is off. So yeah, that's how the final unit looks. The board. It's cleaned up, ready to go. It's technically an experimental platform. You can just pick it up and walk away with it. You can see that there's nothing underneath it. That's how it looks. So I hope that clarifies the new model, how it looks, what's going out, the principle behind it. And to sum it up, That source passes through an amp meter. DC powers up the ringer circuit, the negative resistant ringer. The negative resistant ringer's output can recharge either the source battery now, or it can recharge a separate source battery, and you can fine-tune that effect with your potentiometers that are in series with your cold cathode gas discharge tubes. So that is the final model. It was perfected. That's how it looks. That's what's going out to everyone who ordered, and thank you everybody. So see you soon, and that's a video update of the board. Give you a good look at everything. And I'm being eaten alive by bugs, and I just figured I'd give you a quick update video. And that's how it looks. Thank you, everybody. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and it is a test platform for people to experiment with. And it can run, you earth ground that thing and you get it fine-tuned, you can recharge this rapidly or recharge the source rapidly. So we just about perfected the effects. And thank you, everybody. It's a very long-lasting power source.